नमस्ते एभ्रिवान वेलकम टु द गुड हेल्थमा यहाँहरू सबैजनालाई स्वागत छ म निशा ढुङ्गाना चौधरी फेरि आइसकेको छु यो हेल्थ पडकास्ट लिएर जसमा चाहिँ हामी स्वास्थ्य सम्बन्धी विभिन्न टपिकहरूमा डक्टर्ससँग एक्सपर्टसँग कुराकानी गर्नेछौँ र आज हामीसँग जो हुनुहुन्छ उहाँ चाहिँ पेडिट्रिसियन हुनुहुन्छ उहाँ एउटा मदर पनि हुनुहुन्छ आफै पनि है कविता क्यालजी हुनुहुन्छ उहाँ क्लिनिक वानमा पनि यहाँले उहाँलाई भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ वयोदय हस्पिटलमा भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ र सुमेरु सिटी हस्पिटलमा भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ लेट्स वेलकम हर नमस्ते कविताजी
Namaste.
वेलकम टु द पडकास्ट
Hi then. Hello everyone.
थ्याङ्क यू सो मच फर टेकिङ टाइम मैले त पेडिट्रिसियन मात्र भनेँ होइन तर यहाँको इन्ट्रोडक्सन एकदमै लामो छ सो वाट आर यु बिजी विथ कहाँ काम गरिरहनु भएको छ टेल अस अ लिटल मोर अबाउट योर सेल्फ गोल्ड मेडल पनि यहाँको छ सो अ लिटल मोर अन योर ब्याकग्राउन्ड प्लिज
Thank you. I'm basically a pediatrician. I was trained from Bangalore, Manipal in 2009, and I was a whole Nepal topper during my NB, and so I was awarded with the gold medal. And then I had a short course training from NUHS Singapore on asthma and allergy disease, including bronchoscopy. And I was an active member of NEPAS, American Academy of Pediatric, European Academy of Pediatric as well. And presently, I'm also associated with Nepal College of Chest Physician.
Wow.
And I've been working presently with Sumeru City Hospital as a full-time doctor. You can also catch me over with Clinic 1 and for the hospital in case required.
That's a pretty long introduction and also very impressive one. Congratulations. And
Thank
that's
you.
absolutely so cool to see a gold medalist and a woman with so many achievements under her belt. So, अब आज चाहिँ हामी एस्थमाको बारेमा कुरा गर्दैछौँ बाई द वे है बच्चाहरूमा हुने एस्थमाको बारेमा चाहिँ बढी कुरा गर्नेछौँ आज हामी अडल्ट एस्थमा भन्दा बढी है सो वाट इज एस्थमा हामी त्यसबाट सुरु गर्छौँ एन्ड देन वी क्यान स्लोली गेट इन्टु दि अदर रिस्क फ्याक्टर्स एन्ड थिङ्स लाइक द्याट
Yeah, sure. So basically, to tell, asthma is basically an allergy disorder. Whenever the child or an adult come in contact with any of the allergens, then there is an hypersensitivity reaction of the airway. So if I got to explain, I have bring a module today. So it would be easier for us to understand. When we see an airway, normally the person or people think this is a disease of a lung. No, but basically this is a disease of a airway. If we got to explain, this is our normal airway where we can see the mucosa is well oxygenated and the lumens are wide open. But in case of asthma, what happens whenever the child comes in contact with the allergen, the lumen gets constricted. So you can see the wide open lumen has become constricted, and because of the hypersensitivity reaction, this become red. So to explain in a general term, asthma is completely a disorder of the airway where there is an hypersensitivity reaction to the airway of the respiratory tract. And it may be associated with underlying allergic rhinitis, adenoid hypertrophy, or if the child have a skin problem like atopy.
Okay. All my life I thought it was a problem of lung.
Basically, when we don't control an asthma, then I have a 3 module to explain the already constricted module, and because of the hypersensitivity reaction, there is a mucus formation which tends to block the lumen, and when we don't treat, then we may have a super added infection, and that it may affect the lung. So ultimately airway is also a part of a lung, so when we tell it's a part of a respiratory tract, so basically it's a disease of a airway of the respiratory tract system.
Okay, so I think this is one of the biggest confusion that we all had all our life. मैले चाहिँ साँच्चै फोक्सोकै समस्या भन्ने सोचेको थिएँ तर
So
respiratory
in
tract
general term,
yeah.
when we say फुक्सुको समस्या, this is what they understand.
भनेपछि पछि चाहिँ गएर फोक्सोमा चाहिँ असर गरेको हो भन्ने
हुन
कुरा
सक्छ if we don't treat them on time, or if
हजुर,
there
हजुर.
is an associated pneumonia, then it may affect the lung as well.
Okay, there's one more question which might be a sort of a confusion or a myth or anything. त्यसपछि we'll go to risk
Sure.
factors. So when I was very young, I sort of heard people say that बच्चा बेलामा जसलाई pneumonia भएको हुन्छ उसलाई चाहिँ पछि गएर asthma हुन्छ भनेर. Is that true or false?
No, this is not there's no any association the child having pneumonia in the childhood will have an asthma in later in the life, because asthma is completely as is an allergy disease. And like there are two causes basically. One is environmental factors and the other one is genetic factor. So any of the family history from the maternal side or the paternal side, if any of the grandparents or sibling is having an asthma history, then there are some percentage that the present child will also suffer from asthma. The another very main cause is environmental factor, and it covers and it has a whole lot of thing under a single umbrella, like it can be dust, smoke, pollen grains, especially in the changing season, pets and mites like cockroaches and all. Any food related, especially what we come across is peanuts, almonds, any coloring agent in the food, fish, tuna, and any hard smell, like if the house is newly painted, you can smell
Mm-hmm.
that very hard. Any particular brand of perfume, body spray, and sprinkling a powder over the body surface,
Yes.
which like we usually do this.
Uh,
So I don't recommend that. And even that powders are also a dust particles, or like in the rainy season, damps in the walls and even in the clothes. So any of these can aggravate asthma.
Oh, so how is allergy and asthma connected? Are they similar, or is allergy
Allergy
a
will
rather
produce
smaller?
asthma. So
Oh,
whenever the
okay.
child tend to inhale from the nose, and ultimately it goes to the airway. So the way I showed you, so the airway goes constricted as soon as they inhale the thing or they come contact with the allergens.
Mm-mm-mm. Oh, okay. That's a lot of information for someone who knows very less about asthma. So, this is one question, and I think you mentioned two factors. One is pollution, and other is
Genetic
genetic factor.
factor.
So, so if a parent has asthma, the chances are the child will also have asthma.
Yeah, they have a higher chance of having asthma, and the chances increases when the child have a underlying skin disease, like I say, atopy, which is also termed as a skin asthma, or when the child have a allergic thing in the nose, we call it an allergic rhinitis, and some degree of adenoid hypertrophy, which I personally as a doctor feel is very underdiagnosed, or it's like list cast in the children basically.
So, how common is asthma in children? Because if I'm not wrong, a lot of people, especially in Nepal, think that this is a disease for old people.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Like, usually, whenever we tell parents that your child is suffering from asthma, there's very hard and there's like one a thunder boom in their head. In a sense, they think usually it's a disease of old age, grandparents, and not the child. But yes, to be frank, in the initial days when there was less of pollution and less of other things, and as we can see, the pollution has increased, and I think Nepal is coming like in top 10 list of the pollution. So as the disease is also increasing, so being an allergy disease, and it's have a direct connection with the pollution. So to be frank, I in my normally day to day, I think the child with cases with asthma in child is really increasing, and maybe about 60 to 70%. And the thing was that the mode of treatment and disclosing a diagnosis to the parents, maybe they were taking that medicine orally and they didn't realize their child was having asthma. And maybe when we put them on a special inhaler therapy, then only they think that the child is suffering from asthma. So there are two different things, and the concept of the parents as well. So truly speaking, the cases are really increasing day by day as the pollution is increasing.
So, does that mean that because there are two things that you said, and I might be a little confused with your answer. One is you think that maybe parents, maybe the child was taking the medicine in form of maybe pills, not the
Inhaler.
inhaler. That's why maybe they thought that maybe we all think or assume that there were lesser cases, or pollution is increasing. That is why we think
It's
that
both
it's
the way.
it's
It's
okay.
both the way. It's both the way, because initially, obviously, as I said, the initial the pollution thing was very less, so the number of cases was also less. But we really don't know whether the number of cases were less or actually it was diagnosed less.
No, okay.
So
Especially
maybe
in
the
case of Nepal.
understanding within the general parents was, and in the doctors as well, as the things of super specialization has increased, and as the knowledge in the field of science has also increased, and the pollution, so it's both hand in hand. It's not
Oh.
just where one way route that it was underdiagnosed. I wouldn't see that completely.
Mm-mm.
It's both way. Maybe it was because I see more of the older prescription having those medicines, like we call it a bronchodilators in the broader term. So maybe
Mm. It does make sense
yeah, it
actually.
makes sense, like, but yeah, but nowadays, like, we have a super specialized doctor for that. We say the respiratory therapist, respiratory doctor, pulmonologist. So yeah, so since the awareness has also increased in the parent, so it's cast up, or it's termed well,
Oh,
labeled well as compared to before.
it does make sense. Are there any other risk factors that we've missed?
Actually, I think this is as I said, there's a whole lot of things under the umbrella. So I talked to you about the food, smell, any dust, pollens, mites, and especially pets, animals in the form of cats and dog, because they are very furry. And what I face is like carpeting our floor in the bedroom where the child sleep, because it catches dust, and we hardly tend to clean that. And especially when the child has, especially with the girls, they are very fond of having teddy bears on their bed while sleeping. In fact, just to say, even my child being a boy, he played with soft toys for quite longer time, and he did have suffered a pretty suffer certain time until I realized, and I avoid that soft toy giving him. And then he was then better with that. So it's a soft toys, furry, and even the blankets which they use. So I prefer giving a quilt with a cover rather than just giving a blanket which is hardly washable or something like that. Anything that catches dust.
Mm. So how young that can this be diagnosed? I mean, the allergy and stuff, because it's very difficult with kids, and you know it better than I do. They don't communicate in a very younger age. You're supposed to look at the signs and symptoms. हामीले त उहाँहरूको हावभावबाट थाहा पाउने हो नि त होइन,
Exactly.
उहाँको शरीरमा भएको परिवर्तनबाट थाहा पाउने हो. So के कस्ता परिवर्तनहरू आउँछन्? What are the changes that we see in a child? How young can a child be when he or she gets asthma first?
Actually, they say कि at least by the age of 5, child will present first time with the symptoms of asthma. But that doesn't mean कि child below 5 years doesn't have asthma. So we may label it as differently, like viral bronchiolitis or something like that. But usually we say at by first presentation in a child by 5 years of age, and any older age group.
Okay, so what are the earlier symptoms of asthma? I mean, I'm sure that not everyone starts breathing like we show. It's a kind of exaggerated in movies,
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
exaggerated, or maybe that is what it is. But I assume that that's not the first symptom of anyone. There are earlier symptoms that maybe we can diagnose for asthma.
Actually, that's not exaggerated, I would say, because there is something called anxiety and stress induced asthma as well,
Mm.
exercise induced asthma. So
Mm.
whenever the child is doing heavy exercises which they are not used to, so that will also aggravate a symptom of asthma in a child, or any anxiety, stress, or any anger in a child. So to be telling, like, the usually in the initial phase the child usually presents with cough, cold, and that would be a dry type of cough until and unless the child goes in the later form, and if they don't receive treatment they start forming mucus, as I showed you in the air tube. And it will basically, the cough have a different pattern, then we can differentiate with other types of cough like pneumonia cough, or cough due to other factors. So it will be basically a dry cough, mainly in the evening hours and early morning hours, we say. And child, ultimately, if we don't treat them, and the child will land up with breathlessness, like we say, shortness of breath, and they can't perform. In the CV cases, they wouldn't be able to perform their normal activities as well, and you can hear the sound outside, like something like
Mm.
so this is ultimately a severe stage until child presence, like you can hear it really outside.
Mm-mm. There's one more confusion that I think might arise among people, like you said, because there's shortness of breath. So there's one more thing, and I've seen this in my real life, which is why I'm presenting the question to you. So when I was in school, I had friends who sort of had this shortness of breath issue, and she was later taken to hospital, and no, there was no signs of any asthma, while the people in school, everyone thought it was asthma. Later, now that I studied and everything, I realized that that was actually a panic attack. So, is there any sort of similarity in the kind of shortness of breath that we see in both the cases?
Actually, this is a mode of presentation, because even the child with asthma present with shortness of breath and sometimes difficulty in breathing, and same with the panic attacks. But the way you said, yes, the teacher would obviously get confused whether it's real asthma or it's a panic attack. So whenever the child present to us, it's more, the panic attack is usually common with the adulthood, and especially the teenager girls, and it's completely an anxiety, and again I said that's a stress. So they hyperventilate, and they say they complain of tightness on the chest and difficulty in breathing. So there are things we differentiate, and then when we examine personally as a doctor, we auscultate their chest, we ask for the symptoms, and there's no history of cold cough in the past, and there is chest is absolutely clear, and when we talk to them, they don't hyperventilate or they don't breathe that badly, and when we try to divert their mind, they look comfortable comparatively. So this is how we differentiate between both of the things.
Okay.
But yes, it would be difficult for the teachers to differentiate
Yeah.
at that point of time.
Mm-mm. Also, maybe because there's so much less awareness regarding both the diseases.
Yeah,
One
that's
asthma,
true.
another panic attack.
Yeah, we
as
come
well.
across most of the children and girls basically coming up, landing up in the emergency with hyperventilation or this anxiety syndrome.
So
That's
that happens in your hospital.
yeah, very much, very much. And then let's not disclose the thing, but yeah, most of the time we come across those
No, I think it's okay to talk about it, because I think there's a lot of confusion regarding.
No,
this
I mean
concept.
to say there's a most of the time the issue with the they don't want to study, or they haven't done the homework, or
Yeah.
in the teenagers boyfriend
Yeah,
issues,
boyfriend
and
issues.
so many other things. And the moment they say there's a girl hyperventilating in the emergency room, the first thing we'll ask them to look for the saturation. If we see the oxygen level, we come and we see, we talk to them, and when they are talking they look pretty comfortable, then like, "Oops, it's not asthma for sure."
So yeah, I think this was a very good, nice question that I think I put, because this needs awareness. One, asthma needs a lot of awareness. Another, panic attack, mental health also needs a lot
Yeah,
of
and
awareness.
if the child is having asthma, she must be on previous medication. The parents would for sure know about it.
Also, there's a lot of
Yeah,
allergy kind of
yeah,
thing that you
allergy
mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that's true.
There's one more question that I wanted to ask, that because you said there are many factors, say pollution, which is a very huge umbrella,
Yeah,
like you
that's
said
true.
before, and then another is genetics. But is there a chance that a person later in life, gets some disease which is related to maybe lungs or the respiratory tract, and then develops asthma?
It's nothing like a specific. Anyone can develop asthma at any point of time.
Mm.
But as I told you, have like a particular allergens, maybe in the initial days of life, if he haven't been exposed to that particular allergens which he is allergic to, he may not develop asthma.
Okay.
Like if you're staying like as I said, you may be allergic to some particular brand of perfume, which I have seen, but other brands of perfume you can use
You want-
safely.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the moment you put and you have all difficulty breathing, your throat gets like, you feel the throat is like itchy and you start sneezing. So until unless you are exposed to that particular particles or a stuff you are allergic to, you may be healthy. You may be leading a quite healthy normal life, and some, even in the case of peanuts and almonds, some particular brand, but not all will cause specific foods, tunas and all. So again, when you are traveling, maybe you're exposing yourself to different brands or different species of fish and all, and then you develop asthma, and then you'll end up saying, I eat fish, but I was never allergic to fish. So
Fish,
again,
yeah.
it depends upon the type.
Oh.
So it's something like that. So there's nothing a specific child. If child was asymptomatic in his initial childhood, and he wouldn't develop asthma in laterhood, and it doesn't go the other way around as well. If the child was asthmatic now, and he wouldn't have asthma in future. So anything can happen
Anything can
anytime.
happen.
Yeah.
Now let's go to cure,
Yeah,
something
sure.
that you're expert of. So what are the cure that we can find for asthma, and what is the most common method that you've been using with the children?
uh, Basically, we ask them, there's a, we say a like lifetime modification. So we have a certain allergen test available as of now. It can be done with the blood or a skin prick test. So if somebody is very much particular, and if they have a thing like they are allergic to something, so we perform an allergy test. Or else if somebody would have already realized it with frequent attacks, so we ask them to avoid that, basically what the patient is allergic to. So that comes under lifetime modification, little bit. And then the basic thing is like treating them with the medicine. So that's why I showed you tubes in my initial part. So basically the medicine composed of two or three things when we treat asthma patient. So as I showed you module, this one is a normal and this one is a asthma. So one medicine is what we give to dilate the already constricted lumens, and what we call it as a bronchodilator. The other one we give to prevent allergy. So we give it in the steroids form and some anti-allergic drug. So they have to understand ki these are the medicines, they have to take it. But as a doctor, what we face is like there is a great hesitancy in the parents to accept the treatment
हजुर.
as well as the diagnosis. Whenever we diagnose a child with asthma, there's a like big thunderstorm in the parents' mind, and it's like a boom. And they were like, you can see their facial expression, or you can make out from their face. And they usually have a look like, am I right in my diagnosis or something like that? Because the general public concept is like the asthma is a old age disease, and grandparents are suffering and they are put on puff. So the first thing is self diagnosis, and then disclosing a diagnosis to the parents is a big challenging for
Part of
us
your
as a
job.
pulmonologist or as a respiratory medicine doctor. And the next thing is the treatment. So whenever like we treat a patient, the bronchodilator group of drugs is basically it's an emergency, and it gives a fast relief to the parents. But the anti-allergic drug, what we give in the form of steroids or anti-allergen, we continue that for a few months. So in that case, the compliance is again a problem. And the mode of treatment that we give, that we usually give them in the form of spacer. So whenever we prescribe this, and there is a inhaler medicine, we call it a puff, we attach a puff here and we prescribe this. So then they think ki, child will be addicted to it, and we won't be able to wean off drug at any point of time. My child will be on this medicine throughout the life. So there are three like what we say misconcept, or there's also a social stigma. Like even we counsel the parents and bring them in favor of treating, but the what so called neighbor, what so called social family, I know. रिश्ता नाता
Relatives,
देशहरू
yeah.
तिम्रो बच्चालाई के गरेको तिमीले यो औषधि अहिलेदेखि दिनु भएको, यो त दिनु हुँदैन नि, यसको त बानी बस्छ नि. There are so many like questions and like at the back of their mind.
Yes.
So
So-
these are lots of issues goes on.
भनेपछि आस्थमासँग पनि हाम्रो जुन सामाजिक सोशल फ्याक्टर्सहरूले पनि असर गरेको रहेछ भनेर
It's a
सोच्नु
big,
पर्यो.
big, big. It's
Especially
affected
with,
a big in a big way.
Yeah, it's especially with children with asthma. Maybe when you start getting adult, and if you're given something like this wouldn't look very scary. But this does look very scary when you're, you know, when
Actually,
you're
this
very
is
small.
made a baby friendly, but doesn't look
Yeah.
scary. Actually, we ask the parents to, otherwise also to let the child be like
Acquainted
familiar
with it,
with
yeah,
the, so that they don't feel difficult while taking
True,
it.
true.
Yeah, so I just want to tell parents ki this is just a mode of treatment. None of the child gets addicted, and believe me, this is very safe medicine. And in fact, whenever you have a trouble in eyes, you put medicine in your eyes, right? And whenever you have a ear pain or trouble with the ear, you put medicine in the ears. It's just a technique of delivering a medicine in the air tube directly, so that your child gets a faster relief, and there is lesser of systemic side effect when we take an oral medicine. And believe me, we give a very fewer doses as compared to what we give in a oral medicine form.
Okay.
The doses are also pretty very lesser form, but when we take it orally, it's a little higher dose as compared to the inhalation therapy.
So inhalers actually has a lesser dose than the
The oral
oral
medicine.
medicines. Okay. Also, the same component is available in
Oral
tablets as well.
medicine, exactly.
Okay.
So if you are
भनेपछि-
taking orally, you don't realize it.
Mm-mm-mm.
The moment we try to give them in a puff or an inhaler thing, it's difficult for them to accept that.
So, is there a chance that a child starts taking inhaler or medicine related to asthma, and in near future he or she stops consuming it because they don't need it anymore? Is there
Yeah,
anything
so
like
we evaluate the child. So that's what we say, like the elder patient are suffering from blood pressure, hypertension, and diabetes, and they are on the lifetime medication. But we do evaluate them and play with the doses and the combination therapy, right? So similarly goes with the asthma. So whenever we prescribe children with asthma, so there are two treatment, as I said, which are the emergency drugs are the bronchodilators, and when we put them on a steroid or a continuation medicine that goes for minimum of 3 to 6 months or for a year or for more than period. But then again, it depends how the child responds to the treatment.
because the body is changing frequently,
yeah,
maybe.
so even the body and the child living environment, everything.
Yeah.
So depending on that, we decide whether he can go off completely and or else he needs to continue for some time. So duration of therapy, duration of treatment, everything depends upon the child, like how does he
And the
react to the
environment.
treatment. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. What about this big question? Is asthma 100% curable?
As I said, nothing is 100% curable. It would be 100% curable if you take a challenge with the pollution, if you guarantee your child is living in a pollution free world, if you take a challenge your child, and if you guarantee your child is not taking any of the food causing allergens or not exposed to any of the environmental factors. So since you are living in this world, so nothing can be guaranteed of as
Guaranteed,
such. Yes, but yes, with the treatment and with the life modification, life habit behavior modification, the incidence of attack and number of visit to the doctors for sure decreases. And as the child grows older and they know how to protect themselves, they themselves become so cared कि they try and avoid those allergic factors in their life. So the number of symptoms decreases and the number of attack also decreases.
So it's not about
Like 100% cure,
cure.
and neither it's like you have to be on medicine for
Forever.
lifelong.
Yeah. So it actually, because I think environmental factor plays a very important role
Very,
in asthma.
very, yeah.
Things can be manipulated and taken care of. यो जुन यहाँले अब दबाईसँग सम्बन्धित जुन एउटा स्टिग्मा भन्नुभयो, यो चाहिँ समाजमा जस्तै अब मैले कतिवटा एपिसोड गरिसकेँ नि त,
Exactly.
मलाई के थाहा छ भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो देशमा हाम्रो समाजमा चाहिँ दबाईलाई त्यति राम्रो मानिँदैन. म मेरै घरमा पनि अलि अप्ठ्यारै छ, मेरो घरमा दिदी डक्टर भए पनि मेरो मामुलाई चाहिँ त्यति दबाई लिन मन पर्दैन. सो आई थिङ्क दिस इज अ भेरी ह्युज सोसल फ्याक्टर इन नेपाल द्याट दे डोन्ट वान्ट टु टेक मेडिसिन. Also, they want to go for herbal treatments and maybe go in the kitchen and get something from kitchen as part of cure over a medicine. So त्यसले पनि धेरै इफेक्ट गर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ. झन्
Yeah,
सानो उमेरमा
actually-
दबाई दिनु त
Yeah, that's pretty good. At times it's okay to stick to the hormonal treatment, provided the child just have a common cold.
yeah.
But that doesn't work with asthma.
Asthma.
That doesn't work with asthma, and that's the main reason child, whenever they come to us, it's already they come in the later stage or they present us in a very severe form. The way they go to
Yeah.
Zakri doctors and they take that medicine, or they go to the homeopathic thing and get the herbal medicine, and that's why they get delayed treatment and the diagnosis is delayed, and ultimately the child land up with the severe stage.
अनि झन् झन् सायद दबाई चाहिँ ठुल्ठुलो
Exactly.
बढी
अझ बढी।
जाँदै जानुपर्छ. त्यही कारण सानो उमेरमै लग्यो भने
Yeah, टाइममै लग्यो भने we can diagnose it in time and we can start treatment in time.
एब्सोल्युटली मेक्स सेन्स. क्योरको बारेमा अझ एउटा अन्तिम प्रश्न है. जस्तै यहाँले भन्नुभयो ओरल मेडिसिन हामी पिल्स दिन सक्छौँ अथवा इनहेलर त सबैजनाले देखि नै सक्नुभएको छ होइन, इनहेलर दुईवटा भयो. इज देयर एनी अदर मोड अफ क्योर फर एस्थमा?
No, it's completely medicine and lifetime modification.
Hmm.
And
Inhalers.
we got, and one very important factor, if there is an associate underlying other conditions like I told, allergic rhinitis, adenoid hypertrophy, or eczema or atopy in the skin, it has to be treated side by side. If a child with allergic rhinitis is not receiving treatment, then asthma is not getting cure for sure. And this is one factor I would like to say, it's like very underdiagnosed, or it's like, I don't know, it's missed, or what is the actual problem, I really don't know. But I, as a pediatrician, have come across so many children with allergic rhinitis and adenoid hypertrophy, and maybe associated, strongly associated with asthma. So when we treat those basic disease, because anyway this everything is a component of a respiratory tract, so it comes falls under the same thing. So once we don't treat part of a allergy up, so we can't treat the lower down, so it has to go hand in hand. So this is one very important thing I would like to like
Mhm.
focus on as well.
Oh,
And we can also, like the child with asthma, I have my own way of treatment. Every doctor have their own way of treatment,
definitely.
but something I would prefer giving some vitamin supplements in the form of vitamin D or A. I don't know, it's my way of treating, and I do give them a vaccine shot as well if the child is suffering from frequent asthma, like we give a pneumonia shot and a flu shot yearly, so that they are safer.
It actually makes sense, because when a body is affected, it's not just one component that's affected. There are multiple
Yeah.
effects that come along, like you
No,
said, there
but
are other
that
diseases.
it's not the other system. It's a part of the
Yeah, yeah.
respiratory system. So
Mm-hmm.
once we won't control the one part, the other part won't be get cured. Is something like that.
Also, definitely
So
makes
we
sense.
got to focus on other aspect of the
Same
thing.
part.
Yeah, same treatment.
Absolutely makes sense. So thank you so much, Kavita ji. I had a wonderful time talking to you. There were so many myths and other factors that I did not know about asthma, which now I know. So is there anything that you want to tell to our audience in the end, or if there's anything that I've missed on touching, please make me aware.
No, I think you were good enough. We did cover almost most of the topics. The only thing is that please don't be scared and don't drop out visiting us when we label your child as an asthma. Believe me, this is nothing major like cancer, tumor, or something like that. It is a very simple allergy disorders which gets very much cured with the medicine. And when you stick to the medicine, or you have a good compliance with the medicine, don't drop out just listening to your neighbors or your family, other family, or social members. So today, be as a educated parents, be aware, and there are whole of lot of thing in the media, you can go through it, convince yourself, and please listen to your doctors, visit us on time so that we can make your child life easier and healthier. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kavita ji, for your time. Ani आज त झनै भन्नु पर्ला है, because of so many factors. We started a little late and her child is also unwell. So यस्तो टाइममा पनि आइदिनु भयो, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
सो यस आस्थमाको बारेमा यति धेरै जानकारी यहाँले पाउनु नै भयो, र कविताजीले भने जसरी नै सानो उमेरमै आस्थमा देखियो भने दबाई लिन, औषधि लिनलाई नहिचकिचाउनु होला. धेरै सामाजिक तत्त्वहरू छन् जसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो दिमागमा असर परेको छ, दबाई लिनु हुँदैन भनेर. तर जति सानो त्यति कम डोजको दबाई भन्ने कुरा डक्टरले नै भनिसकेपछि मैले भनिरहनु नपर्ला. सो यस, इफ your child shows symptoms of allergy and stuff, please go take them to Kavita ji, right? She's available in Clinic 1, Sumeru City, and Verda Hospital. With this, I'm Nishma signing out from The Good Health. You guys stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.